So, good morning, dear friends, dear colleagues. This is the Athena European University, which is an alliance of 9 small, medium-sized universities that they envision the next day of the higher education in Europe through their collaboration. This is the first roundtable and discussion that we organize through our alliance in collaboration with Hellenic Mediterranean University, the Virtual Exchange Program Impact, in order to celebrate the Erasmus Days 2023. This is like Erasmus Days 2023 is an established event to celebrate the collaboration through the Erasmus program, but not only within European institutions, but beyond. And this is the purpose and the aim of today's roundtable discussion with distinguished friends and scientists that they have an experience collaborating with Africa and vice versa with the European partners. So we have panelists and speakers from Europe, but also from African universities in order to share with us their experiences, their suggestions in order to overcome challenges, but also to leverage opportunities for further collaboration. So the objective of this roundtable is like to promote and better coordinate existing cooperation, academic mobility, fellowships, and doctoral training programs. So the purpose is like to reveal opportunities, to inspire ideas, but also help you to build your network for further collaboration in all universities' missions, education, research, innovation, but also governance. So we have together with us almost all our speakers, Professor Nuno Escudeiro, Dr. Dirk van Meronde, Professor Yorgos Kritsotakis, Professor Geoffrey Antocha, Associate Professor George Fuskitakis, Professor Godfrey Luvemba, Dr. Sokona Naknoko, and Raymond Dumvi-Sigie. I'm sorry for my accent. I'm pretty sure that you can make it better. So I'm providing the floor.
You forgot.
You are going. I did, because you signed with a very different name. And of course, my colleague, dear friend Mudacho Argiro from the Hellenic Mediterranean University. So I will provide the floor, starting from Nuno to introduce himself, and then I will move on to Argiro, and then to Dirk, and then to Yorgos, Geoffrey, George Fuskitakis, Godfrey, Sokona, and finally Raymond. But I will remind you the order. So Nuno, the floor is yours in order to introduce to our participants.
Well, thank you very much, Kostas. First of all, thank you very much for the invitation and for the opportunity to be here with this great. You are nearly 50 people. It's really good to see this audience in this topic. So thank you very much. My name is Nuno Escudeiro. I come from the Polytechnic of Porto, Department of Informatics, mostly working with machine learning and also with development of curricula and mobility is very much linked to the internationalization of higher education through my institution, through Erasmus, mostly through Erasmus, but also very much in cooperation with the RUF Forum, which is really boosting what we have been doing in Africa through the Athena European University in the last years.
Thank you, Nuno. Now to Argiro, to Professor Mudacho, a short introduction of you. You need to unmute yourself, Argiro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello,
All right.
everybody. I'm Argiro Mudacho. I'm an associate professor in economics in Hellenic Mediterranean University. My special field of research is foreign direct investment, growth issues of emerging economies. And the last 8 years, my research is focused on the emerging economies of BRICS. And the last 3 years, I focused on research about African economies regarding their ties to old colonies, Westerns, Europeans and Americans, and the links with the new emerging economies of BRICS. Kostas, are we going to present our research or what?
You're going to present, according to the questions that I have sent you, yourself very briefly. You have already done it, and then we are going to move to a more specific questions. Thank you, Argyro. The floor now is to Dirk van Merode.
Good morning, everybody. In my case, it's already good afternoon because I'm in Uzbekistan. That's why I have the flag of Uzbekistan and the president of Uzbekistan as my background. But in any case, I'm from the AP University of Applied Science in Antwerp in Belgium for the IT department. I work mainly in Internet of Things and applications. And we have been doing Erasmus projects with African partners since the beginning that it was possible for African partners to join. So we just finished the Actea project, which was on industrial technology. And we started the EU main project, which is on applied artificial intelligence. So all my projects, they start with an A, and it's always about applied. So we focus a lot on real life cases and labor market use cases, things that are useful for the students and for local society. So, but this is for it for now. So I'll leave the floor to somebody else, and we'll talk a little bit later on the projects.
Thank you very much, Dirk. Indeed, this is going to be the second question that you participate. Then I provide the floor to Associate Professor and colleague of mine in Hellenic Mediterranean University, Giorgos Kritsotakis, for a very short introduction.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all. I'm still assistant professor though, but
I can look at the future.
The upgrade. And I am assistant professor in public health nursing and social epidemiology here at the Hellenic Mediterranean University, at the same department with Professor Argyro Modatsu at the Department of Business Administration and Tourism. And I am also adjunct staff at the Hellenic Open University at the Healthcare Management Master of Science degree. And that's all, I think, from me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Giorgos. And then to Geoffrey Andohag. Geoffrey. So until Geoffrey will connect, I will provide the floor to Professor George Fuskitakis to present himself very fast.
Good morning to all of our participants. Good morning, dear friends and colleagues. My name is George Fuskitakis. I'm a colleague of Kostas and an associate professor at the Department of Electronic Engineering here at HMU. And my fields of expertise are on signal processing and precision agriculture and intelligent agriculture. And we'll have the opportunity to be more specific in the sequel. Thank you very much, Kostas.
Thank you very much, George. Thank you all of you for your contribution and the participants for their attendance. And then I will provide the floor to Godfrey. Godfrey?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Godfrey Luemba, lecturer at the Department of Computer Systems and Mathematics at Argyro University. My area of expertise is electronics and telecommunication systems, wireless communications, Internet of Things, and the power line communications. Argyro University is a higher learning institution that also offers undergraduate and postgraduates in earth sciences, real estate, business and informatics, engineering and environmental studies, spatial planning, architecture, construction economics, and human settlements. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Godfrey, for this nice introduction. And then I'm moving to our colleague Sokona Daknono from RU Forum, or of any representative from RU Forum, in order to present herself or himself.
Yeah, thank
Sokona.
you. I hope you can hear me.
Very well, very well.
Great. So sorry, Dr. Sokona is not able to make it. Some urgent issues came up, so I'll represent her and Ruforum. So my name is Emmanuel Okalan. I work at Ruforum. Ruforum is a regional universities forum for capacity building in agriculture, a network now of 163 universities in 40 African countries. My role is supporting coordination of partnerships and resource mobilization, and I've been actively engaged in Erasmus Plus. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear colleague. And then finally, Raymond.
Hello.
Hello, Raymond.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, Carmela. I'm called Raymond Mwesje. I'm a lecturer at Rira University, which is found in northern part of Uganda. And at the same time, I'm also part-timing at Mbara University of Science and Technology in Western Uganda. And I'm a PhD fellow at Hellenic Mediterranean University. And I'm happy to be part of this discussion as the past Erasmus alumni. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Raymond, for your participation. Now, I'm moving to the first question, and the first question refers to Nuno, Dirk, George Kritsotakis, the representative of RU Forum, and Raymond. So because the aim of this discussion is the collaboration, I would like to share with our dear participants your collaboration experiences, the projects that you are running right now, the projects that you have run with our participants. So share the objectives, the main outcomes of the project that you are participating or you have participated with our colleagues. So I'm starting this question with Nuno.
Okay, thank you, Kostas. Well, currently, in fact, we have two active projects that have been just selected in cooperation with Ruforo. So we at the Athena European University signed a memorandum of understanding a year ago with the Ruforo, and I believe this memorandum, the way it was prepared, was very focused on objectives, and I think this was a good booster and a good one of the main, I would say, reasons why we have this project, because we have really invested on this. So currently we have these two projects run. One is a capacity building on higher education, but this project in particular has two main goals, I would say. One is to adapt a model of blended mobility challenge-based courses that we are running already for 14 years here in Europe, and adapt this to the reality of the African universities, in particular in the area of agriculture studies. So what we are doing is creating a group of 6 universities in 3 African countries, creating this consortia that is adapting what we are doing here in Europe with this regard, with very good results from our point of view for all the stakeholders, for the students, for the professors, for the universities themselves, and for the companies that are cooperating with us. So this is a project that we expect that will somehow contribute to develop soft skills and entrepreneurial skills in the students in Africa that are going to participate. But this is not the main outcome. This is one very relevant outcome. But I would say that the main outcome is that with this, we would like to create a group with colleagues from Europe, colleagues from Africa, that then can take this model after this experience with this project, where we are going to adapt what we are doing here in Europe for 14 years. We can adapt this to a new reality in Africa and use this experience and this knowledge to create then a group of people who is willing to adapt this same model to other regions in the globe. So the main objective in the end is that in 10 years we can have a course that is run worldwide in this model of blended mobility with companies, and that the students can apply to the project they prefer in the area they prefer. And this, I believe, will be a good push. This project, this ABC blended project, this capacity building project, will be a very important pillar of this ambition, let's say. The other project that we are running now is the Co-Create project. The Co-Create project, so it's an intra-Africa academic mobility. We are the technical European partner in this consortium. But this is just the beginning of this deeper cooperation. In fact, we are cooperating with African universities in concrete, in courses already since the last 5 or 6 years. In particular, with this project course that I just mentioned, we have already involved students and professors from Africa. In one of the former editions, we have worked with Mina from Nigeria, and this was really the start of all this deeper cooperation. We are also working through RUFORO to bring sign language for deaf students to African sign languages. This is a process that is just starting. We are just mainly talking about each other to raise awareness on this, but the aim is then in the future to have an Horizon project or something more related to research where we can have this also adapted in to other languages. We are doing this now with languages of sign languages in Europe, in Brazil, and now we would like to move to Africa to open the gateway in that direction as well. So this is it. I think just one more mention, some cooperation that we did last year. We were at the EAI conference in Barcelona, and we had a session also with the University of Witwatersrand in cooperation with another alliance with Suivez, and this was also an interesting way to start and to keep this deeper and deeper, this cooperation deeper and deeper. And I give the floor to the next colleague. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nuno. Dirk, can you please share your experience, your coordination experience with the projects that you have done with universities in Africa? Thank you. Thank you, Nuno, also for your contribution.
Let me allow to share the screen with you, because I also have some very nice audiovisual material for that. So let's share this one. Okay.
You need to place it in a full screen.
Is it okay? Do you see it?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to present some of the work that we are doing. We've been going to Africa since 2014, where we developed a radio station at that time at the Mount of the Moon University in Uganda. And back then, we decided that it would be interesting to have at least or to start this Erasmus project in Africa, and we did. So the Actea project is one. This is the one that is finished. The EU Main project is one that we are developing, and in the frame of the EU Main project, we also have the Karume Innovation Hub, which is actually also an output of the EU Main project, but we also get extra funding to develop this. But let me share you quickly what it's all about. So if you talk about the Actea project, it's on industrial technology. So at the one hand, we have in electrical engineering and everything which is related, and then we have industrial manufacturing, design and manufacturing. So this was our goal. This is one of the deliverables that we got. We produced industrial lab equipment, so we delivered the industrial lab equipment, and we did trainings on them. And as you can see, they are made quite flexible and mobile. So this is the idea that we can go anywhere to train with these modules. And the interesting part on this is that we can deliver technology wherever, whenever. That's more or less the idea. And it's also the idea that people owning this equipment, that they also can write new projects easily with that. And they say, for instance, we go to a refugee camp and we find some people there to train with a background in electrical engineering. So this was more or less the idea. And we did this roadshow in Uganda to showcase the proof of concept. We also went to, but it's also quite important that we get a decent connection with the local labor market. So this is in Mbarara. So we visited the Nile brewery there, which was an eye-opener, because the technology that we teach at the university is the same technology that is used at the Nile Brewery, which is obviously nice. And now we are invited to give an additional training to their staff members. So we will be going there in February to deepen their knowledge. So we also made a small clip. It only lasts for, and I hope. No, it doesn't work for now. But in any case, I provide the link so you can always look at the movie clip yourself. So after the Actea project, we started the EU main project. The goal here is to set up an AI ecosystem in East Africa to bring the East African universities and society up to speed with the main global trends. So this is quite important. We already did some master classes there, and we will do a master class in November on data science and AI. Very practical. This is one that we do with partners in Belgium, in Spain, and in Cyprus, and in Uganda, and in Tanzania. So this is our list of partners for your reference. Although we only started in January, we already did quite some things in our milestones. So we did our first e-learning training in January. Then we did our kickoff meeting. We spent quite some time in really focusing on all the work packages, which was a strong point to make sure that everybody is on board. Not only the guy that wrote the proposal. And also to meet in a friendly way. That's also important because we will be working together for 3 years. So it's good that we get to know each other in a good way. So in June we did a tour around Uganda, also to meet up with local stakeholders, which was important, and to see what equipment was already there, what knowledge was already there, and to see what are the needs for the local partners. So this is our curriculum. It's a little bit specialized, but people working in machine learning and AI could easily find the things interesting for them. And everything is topped up with a multidisciplinary project in which we can easily work together in international student teams. We also provided in the EU main something like the blended learning scheme. So we have room for students from Africa to come to Europe to do a blended project with a European student team. On top of that, we also do a project on air quality in Dar es Salaam, air quality in an IoT project, more or less, and air quality in Stone Town in Zanzibar. This is sponsored by the Flemish government, but it's all related and connected, and that's how we would like to do it. So this is focused with students. So our students made the first Internet of Things application in Zanzibar, which made us proud, obviously. Let me try again. This way. Okay. No. So maybe some last slides, which were already in my slide when I was doing this. And this may be interesting to know, is that Europe increased massively their budget for Africa in the last few years. So there is a lot of opportunities, and you see that it's not only us in this consortium that are interested in working with Africa. It's also backed up with funding in the European Union. Of which 49% is in international mobilities and 28% is in capacity building projects. And so many opportunities are there, and maybe something that we can discuss in the round table. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dirk. This is actually one of the purposes of this meeting, the people to get know each other and network for the future, funding opportunities that they are coming. So please, all the coordinators that you run projects, please share in the chat the websites of your projects, your contact details, in order people to be able to come and contact you. And now I'm moving to my colleague, George Kritsotakis, who has a strong experience traveling through the mobility in collaborate with African colleagues, and also his future plans about the organization of what he would like to organize. George, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And my personal journey to Africa began in 2017, and I'm very thankful to Professor Kayakatsos for this. When I first visited Uganda and Mbarara University, and then 1 year later, I visited Ethiopian Mekele University. I have also returned to Mbarara University in 2021 amid the COVID pandemic. During my visits, I had the privilege of providing lectures and seminars on various aspects of healthcare and public health, fostering an environment of knowledge, empowerment, and growth. And I also had the opportunity to visit many healthcare facilities, gaining valuable insights into the unique challenges and opportunities in this region. One of the most significant achievements of this visit was the establishment of the mobility scholarships that enabled faculty and students from both Uganda and Ethiopia to come to Greece, here in Crete, where they could share their knowledge through lectures to our students or study here in the university or at the hospitals. For me, what sets our program apart is the emphasis on hands-on clinical practice for students and not mere shadowing. This means that the students receive a comprehensive and immersive learning experience, and they do enhance their skills and expertise. One of the most promising outcomes of this collaboration is the ongoing research by a PhD student from Uganda under my supervision, Mr. Raymond Mesege, that is here with us today. And his work focuses on exploring the associations of the nurse practice environment with missed nursing care and adverse patient outcomes in Uganda hospitals. He's also researching how professional discrimination within the nursing profession and safety culture interact with these dynamics. And in my opinion, this research has the potential to drive meaningful change in healthcare practices and patient outcomes in Uganda. And as we look to the future, I'm very excited to announce a significant development. From April 1st to 5th, next year, 2024, we are preparing our first International Week here in Crete with a specific focus on Africa. This initiative will provide a platform for European and African universities and stakeholders to collaborate, network, share best practices, and strengthen academic ties. So I extend an open invitation to all of you to join us during this week. My journey in Africa, although in its infancy, is a testament to the power of collaboration in the pursuit of knowledge and positive outcomes. I think that we can build bridges between our communities, and I look forward to welcome you to our exciting International Week next year. Thank you very much, Kostas.
Thank you very much, George, for sharing all this fruitful experience that you have acquired through your interaction with Africa. Here, in order to summarize, until now, you can see experiences through capacity building project, experiences that experts from Europe, they are coming in order to set up and share their good policies regarding mobilities within Africa. Here we see another example through the KA171 action, how joint research projects they can be involved, and also how we can extend our collaboration through the organization of joint events. And now I'm giving the floor to our colleague from RU Forum, Emmanuel, to share his experiences regarding projects that he has participated or RU Forum has participated with Europe.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kostas, and it's a pleasure to share with you our experience. And maybe before, I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks. So as I mentioned, RUFORUM is a network of universities across the continent. One thing I forgot to mention is that we are based in Kampala, Uganda, at Makerere University. Now, what we do is mobilize universities to participate in initiatives like this, that is involving mobility and doing joint capacity development. And the initial focus was within Africa, but of course we realized that we could learn a lot from Europe, for example. And so we opened up, and it has been my role to coordinate the linkage of partnerships, joint proposal, project development with European colleagues. And I'm happy to say that in terms of Erasmus specifically, ever since we were open to participate in the capacity building in higher education, we have participated in 5 Erasmus Plus projects. And of course, all of them have, as you know, the requirement that they have to have both European and African partners. And our role is to mobilize, to agree to design the projects in partnership with the universities and mobilize the partnership from Europe. So we've, as I mentioned, that we are largely in agriculture focused, but we are now shifting to the broader science, technology, and innovation and its application in the agriculture, natural resource management, and any related science. So just to highlight the projects that we have had, but I would also mention the others where we have a partnership with Europe. As I mentioned, we are biased towards agriculture, but we are shifting towards other projects. Now, initially, we worked with universities in Finland, Sweden, and Denmark on a project on scaling agri-entrepreneurship and university industry engagement in the food and agribusiness training in sub-Saharan Africa. And that project is coming to an end now, this year. And the second one, we are developing a model for entrepreneurship and community engagement training across Africa, and we're working with universities in Benin, Uganda, Kenya, and Morocco. And we have partners from Europe, being University of Pavia, the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences, and University of Copenhagen in Denmark. And at the beginning of this year, we started a project on climate smart agri-entrepreneurship education for livelihood sustainability in Eastern and Southern Africa. Again, we are working with the Hem University of Life Sciences in Finland and University of Copenhagen. And the more recent one, which Nuno mentioned, and I heard most of you are from the technology background, and that is engineering, IT. So after our meeting and signing the MOU with the Athena network, we are happy that we worked with most of you here. First with IPP in Porto, Hellenic Mediterranean University, and then I can't remember the university in Germany, Siegen, I think, and then
correct.
Odessa.
Siegen.
Yeah, Siegen, yes. So we see this as a great opportunity to learn from the Athena network to transform how teaching and engagement with the industry or challenge-based education could be integrated in the African continent of higher education institutions. And we have another project that is on a sustainable agricultural value chains applied in a doctoral training education, and we're working with Zek University of Life Sciences, the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. And we've had, in addition to Erasmus Plus, a very significant engagement of our 12 projects in the intra-Africa mobility, which I'm sure most of you know, where European universities have been working as technical partners. And we are really happy that we learned a lot in the models that you're using, from the Erasmus Mundus to Erasmus Plus on how to facilitate student and staff mobility across the continent. And one significant improvement change in the intra-Africa mobility is that we will now have exchanges between Africa and Europe for staff and both staff and students. And we currently, in the previous call, we supported the network to mobilize 5 projects out of, I think, 18 or 15. So 5 of them were supported by the Forum network. And so we really look forward to strengthening this collaboration, especially in bringing in the technology application in life sciences. And that's what we really, really want to work closely with the Athena University Network and the other partners in Europe. So that's just a highlight of what we have done, but we are happy. And if you really want to get to the network, we will have more than 170 universities by the end of this year, because we have some applications to become members. And our work is to broker the partnerships in all fields. Of course, primarily we were focused in agriculture, but we are expanding to technology and innovation. And we link all the partners, different partners from across the globe, to work with these universities, and not just the technical persons, but where we want to institutionalize change within those universities, because the vice chancellors of the member universities are the board of trustees of the network, and they meet annually. And one of the roles that they designated to us as a secretariat is to create these linkages and partnerships with other stakeholders to share experiences in areas like academic mobility. So I'll leave it here, Costas.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for this very fruitful insights. I'm keeping that Edu Forum is a strategic partner for everyone who would like to collaborate with Africa, since you address a very big number of universities, but also a very broad aspect of activities. And I will say this is also the main purpose of this meeting, to show that this collaboration can tackle current and future crises and challenges, as your topics of engagement reveal. Now we have an extra participant that reflects the participation of a lot of universities and in North Africa. So I'm going to excuse Raymond. I will give the floor to our colleague from Morocco, director of Tamkin Education Center, Abdelillah Kadili, for a very short introduction of their activities and projects with Europe and within Africa. He represents North Africa. Abdelillah, the floor is yours, and Impact Project as well.
Thank you, Costas. Thank you, everybody, for giving me this opportunity to be with you. I am really very pleased as the president of the Tamkin Foundation. Tamkin is a non-governmental organization located in Rabat, operating out of Morocco, with about 250 partners acting on improving education in Morocco and around the world, particularly with a special focus on Africa. We do that within a partnership dynamic and using information communication technologies. We are in life we've been in life for the last 7 years. We are new to Erasmus Plus with the 2 project, and the 3rd project coming into play in November. Our partners are from Europe, Israel, Morocco, and some other countries. We'll be happy to share that with you, to share what we've been doing. We've been reaching out to and training teachers, as we believe that within the Tamkin education transformation equation, there are so many variables that are being targeted by our action. Teachers, we trained about 16,000 teachers on using our technology. Students, we're providing scholarships, about 1,500 scholarships for merit and excellence. 1.2 million, 1.3 million students benefited from our activities on the ground. We also believe that getting in touch with as many stakeholders as possible on the ground is what should be done to improve the entire system. Therefore, we're organized and still organizing tens of caravans on the ground, meeting with stakeholders, elected bodies, local authorities, parents, and what have you. We've been doing a great job within the country, and we're reaching out to other, let's say, organizations on the African continent. One of the other activity we've been organizing are our international conferences. You're welcome to participate to that. You just connect with us, and Costas has our let's say our connection, our information. Our international conferences are mainly, we are at the 6th one during this year, mainly focused on AI, artificial intelligence, as it applies and pertains to various domain and let's say activities. The next one will be on the 25th of October, and it is focused on AI and engineering education. With we're organizing that. We're about 25 partners from Morocco, Africa, mainly Lagos, Nigeria, Europe, Israel, and other countries. I don't want to be long. This is a wonderful opportunity to tell you about Temkin. We'll be more than happy to hold another encounter, so to tell you even more. Please feel free to get in touch. Thank you once again, Costas, for this wonderful opportunity. We just came back from, as Costas said, from a meeting in Crete where we worked on this project Impact, right? With the colleagues from Israel, from Crete, and from other countries as well. Thanks a lot once more.
Thank you very much, Abdelillah. What I would like to keep, or what I'm suggesting to keep from what Abdelillah has mentioned, you can see that the collaboration with Africa also is like a great opportunity, and we experienced the last 2 days very sad moments in Middle East, that how Erasmus can build this trust, through Africa, Arabs, people, and Israelis, in order to make one community and build the trust. I mean, so we are wishing, our support, to people that, they are experiencing right now very hard moments. So thank you very much, Abdelillah, for this. Please share, you and RU Forum, the links of your institutions and associations, so people to contact with you. And now, finally, for the second question, I would like to provide the floor to Raymond to share his experiences through the projects that he participates in Europe, and also as a PhD student of Georgia. Raymond, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Costas, and ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. It's still morning. So I'm a PhD student at the University, and the mentorship, Christotakis. Currently, so I think the challenges that as a student I faced when I had the student exchange program at the Hellenic Mediterranean University. So I had a very wonderful experience. I must say that. I'm very thankful to the management. I see Dr. Garethia. So I'm very grateful to that opportunity. And it was the first of its kind, because no one had ever undergone such an experience, coming from Uganda, going to another country, an European university, and then we have a real hands-on experience. So it was a very wonderful one, though I must say there are a few challenges, and one of the maybe few challenges I will mention is that because it was the first time to have such a kind of a program, it was very hard for the administration, to understand some of the few dynamics in relation to maybe visa processing and all that. So I must say there was a little bit of lagging behind of the institution to support the program. But also after the program, I thought would have like maybe more of like a group, or what we call an Erasmus chapter, whereby all the alumni of Erasmus will come together, and then we keep connected, and then maybe sharing ideas. Maybe this will still come in the coming years. And then I also had a challenge with the grading system. When I came back to Uganda, an established system whereby we can equate grades, which I had, obtained from Greece with real hands-on experience. So I had a certificate, yes, which was very nice. But then I think we needed a grading system so that my grades in Greece are really converted to our system here in Uganda. And I think with my initiative, I presented this report to the Senate, and it is on record. Maybe in the coming years, the next students who will have this kind of opportunity will be able to have that equating system of grades. And then so many people were wondering when I was talking about Erasmus, presenting my report, people were wondering what Erasmus is. So I realized there's still some little bit of the people don't have awareness about the entire program. And I think this is something that with my initiative, I tried pushing this to many forums and meetings, and we hope for the best in the coming years. Maybe future suggestions about how best can we solve some of these challenges is that we could start up an Erasmus chapter. I'm happy to see Dr. Emmanuel from Makerere University. If we could have an Erasmus chapter, for the beneficiaries of this program, so that we keep, connected and sharing ideas on how best we can handle the challenges that I've mentioned. And then we can also, of course, there are alumni, platforms which are basically linked to universities where I'm a member. So there are very few African students who have joined these platforms. So I hope we could have, a platform that brings together all the European and suggested that even after leaving Crete, that is some 4 years ago, I've been in touch with the George, I've been in touch with the, other made in Erasmus and the entire program, so that we keep encouraging other people to, come on board. A forum that how to move forward together. Costas, I welcome.
Thank you very much, Raymond. We face some technical issues with your internet, but I kept some of the main messages. I think that the creation of African alumni network to work as ambassadors of Erasmus in African universities is one of the actions that we should include in any of the projects that they are going to be submitted in or in our collaboration. And also I'm keeping the note from the messenger that the alignment of the accreditation system that you're using in Africa with the European accreditation system is something that will facilitate a lot the mobilities, vice versa. Because it's not only that, the African colleagues, they have to learn something from the European colleagues, but also the European colleagues, they have a lot of things to learn from the African colleagues in African continent and African universities. So now I'm jumping to a third question. Thank you very much, all of you, for your contribution. I think that we summarize, the main ideas of opportunities, starting from capacity building projects, going to the KA 171, research projects and shared PhD students, that they can boost our experiences and also mobility within Africa with the help and the expertise of the experiences that we have so many years through the Erasmus project intra-Europe in Europe. So I'm moving now. I'm going a little bit to engineer the questions in order to keep the time. So I would like my colleague Godfrey, if it's here, or Geoffrey, to share with us opportunities and challenges through their collaboration with the European universities. I will start with Godfrey. I don't know if Godfrey is here or Geoffrey. So if this is the case,
yes,
I will.
thank you,
Godfrey.
Costas.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
So the question is like challenges and opportunities through your collaboration experience with European universities.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to share the opportunities that we think is available for the partnership between African universities and the European universities. One of the areas that I see there is an opportunity is research and innovation. Research and innovation area that are developing an innovation infrastructure that would really work together for both African and European universities. Now, in this research and innovation infrastructure, yes, we are getting support from the European universities in terms of research and innovation. But having an infrastructure that would also add value for even European when they come to Africa. That means we share similar infrastructure of doing research. So that is one of the areas that I see. Yes, we might be learning from European when, for example, we sent postgraduate students, masters and the PhD. So they have a very good facilities when they are there, but when they come to Africa, it's a bit a challenge. So that area, when if it is to be strengthened later, that would add value in the collaboration that we are talking. Also, another area that I would like to share is education programs. There have been a lot of exchange, and we appreciate that postgraduates and masters and the PhD students are getting opportunity through Erasmus. They are learning, they are getting actually the value of what this collaboration bring in. Now, looking on the other side, one of the challenges that we are facing is, for example, unemployment. And there you see in other areas that the collaboration is between African universities and the European is, okay, how can we venture into these collaborations to help reduce the unemployment rate or produce graduates who are employable? Now, employable not in the sense of just being employed by the government, but they can have self-employment when they have the enough skills that they gain from getting a quality education. Now, I was just thinking about the possibility of having, for example, projects that are done between African university students and the European university students. Whether they are meeting at some point or they are doing online, but it would add value of what we are offering in Africa. So that is also considering the thanks for the KI 171, that the mobility. So I was just looking at, I think also considering the undergraduate students in these mobilities from both ends. European university undergraduate students coming to Africa to work maybe for 1 month or few weeks with African undergraduate students. Also, depending on the funds, African undergraduate students or postgraduate going to Europe, maybe for 1 week, that would bring a togetherness in these collaborations. Also, another area that I think would be important is in the collaboration is outreach services. Now, one of the experience that I got and from the project that we did with Erasmus through the AP University, that is Actea projects. Yes, we learned a lot. The collaboration are also changing the culture, how to do projects together, how to achieve a goal that we set together. So that was very fruitful for us. And another part on the same line, we have a project, for instance, that involve the outreach services. Yes, we are doing this, whatever we are doing, but we focus on how do we impact this, what we are doing at the universities, to the community. So still there is a room for these collaborations also to go to the community, not only to the students, but we can go together. We have actually done this shortly with the various projects, which is a capacity building projects. And when European partners came to our university for this project, which is a 10-year project, then we have areas that we go together to the community so that they also see the challenges. So it is a very good learning process that we are venturing now. Also, I think one of the questions that you asked, I know maybe it will come later, but what Europeans are getting in terms of, it's not only Africa getting something from Europe, but we believe learning from the culture, different cultures, okay, it brings value for whatever we are doing, because all what we look is, can we bring impact to the community, impact to the people, okay? Now, another area, you know, Africa is abundant with resources. So one of the areas that I was looking when I said to invest in research and innovations and improve the quality of educations. Now we understand that European will come to do investment, and the Africa is open for investments. For instance, now when they come, if there is no skills, then even the investment will have problems. No, so if we have enough capacity, local capacity, then investors can come, and then everything works fine because there is capacity. So thank you, Kostas. Maybe if I have other things, I'll share later. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. This is a lot of insights. I will say to you that the European Commission, regarding the building of the research facilities in Africa, they are ready to announce the Twinning Africa project. So twinning is like mainly in Europe to transfer know-how from advanced technological European countries to less advanced technological European countries. But now they are thinking, because they would like to lower the brain drain of African talents from Africa to Europe, to build the African twinning project. So capacity, equipment to be built, you know, in African universities in order to address the very big challenge that you mentioned, African universities to be attractive, and this collaboration in research, in education to be attractive from both sides. I will keep this, that is going to be ready to be announced, but also the accreditation, like to identify accreditation methods in order to align the two systems, you know, in my notes. But also these notes are going to be shared with you. Thank you very much. And now I'm moving to my colleague, George Fuskitakis, also to share with us the opportunities and the challenges working with African universities. Thank you, Godfrey, and the floor is to George.
Thank you, Kostas. Good morning, everybody, once more. I had the opportunity to work with Dirk van Merod during the Actea project. I was surprised about the willingness of African people to invest on knowledge and education. In my perspective, and my motto is something like this: what is developed for Africa stays in Africa. So in my opinion, we should identify and determine some problems, everyday problems, like the management of plastic waste that I noticed in Uganda. We should find ways to engage all people from Uganda in order to address this problem. And it would be nice if we had the opportunity also to collaborate projects together in order to develop all the curricula that is necessary in order to develop the solutions. And we should focus on problem-based learning and project-based learning, collaborate students from various African universities in order to develop some technological solutions for such problems. develop some technological solutions for the small-scale applications in order to prove the concept of their solution, and then engage local industries in order to scale up and commercialize the solutions. In such a way, whatever is designed and developed for Africa stays in Africa. And in this way, we will convince the European community that we indeed help African countries and African people. So this is my motto: develop technological solutions, prove the concept of them, and then extrapolate and scale up, but in Africa, not for European industries and technological industries. Thank you very much, Kostas.
Thank you very much, George. I will keep, a motto that very much matches what did you say and what Godfrey has said with us. Develop, application in education, research, and innovation that addresses the challenges of African societies. And in this way, Europe respects the global values and at the same time, respecting the global values, transfer also the European values through the collaboration. Thank you very much, George. And then finally, I would like to provide the floor to my colleague, Argyro Mudatsu, also to share with us her experiences working with African universities and the challenges. And here I would like to ask Argyro and also later on our African colleagues, what about challenges of bureaucracy? Because we are learning, and I'm learning a lot from my colleague, Eva Menegaki, that there are a lot of bureaucracy challenges, in order to facilitate the mobilities. So I will start with Argyro, and then I will provide the floor to our colleagues from Africa. What are your suggestions in order to overcome these bureaucratic barriers in order to facilitate and have a seamless mobilities within our colleagues in African universities? First is Argyro, your experiences, opportunities, and challenges. And also then later on, I will provide the floor to our African colleagues to share with us about the bureaucratic barriers that we face. Argyro, the floor is yours.
Microphone, please, Argyro.
Yeah, this is a bottom here, unmute.
Thank you, Kostas. So there
Thank you,
are
Argyro.
not only bureaucratic obstacles and barricades, but also obstacles in trade, in foreign direct investment. Okay, I will approach this Africa studies with African case with another point of view, that is the socioeconomic one. So the African continent caught my interest as a region of study because in Africa belongs the most of the world's developing countries that are located there. Africa is rich in natural resources, but at the same time lags far behind in economic growth compared to the rest of the world. So the challenge was to start to investigate the data about the situation there, to have the first picture of what is going there from the data, and then to starting to measure to estimate the impact, the economic impact of on African economies, which comes from international trade and foreign direct investment, and then to make policy implications. So the first, on this context, my first visit was in Art University in 2017. The goal is to disclose the research projects and to enhance research, mainly. In Art University, I present my research project, the BRICS in the global economy and the rise of BRICS in Africa, because BRICS is a very important group of emerging economies, and China is dominating the foreign direct investment in many European countries. So from this visit, just we start to make research about trade issues. It didn't work so well. So the second time, I visit the Mzumbe University in Morogoro, Tanzania, in 2023, last May. This time it works very good, because after my visit there, we decide to continue our cooperation in the field of economic growth of African economies. We are waiting Professor Utu, he is the Dean of Department of Marketing of he is going to come with his colleague here during the African Week early April 2024, and they are going to present their research here, and we have already start to prepare a project about case studies regarding the African economies from the trade and foreign direct investment point of view. So that's what until now, that's what I can say to you. We hope that we are going to build a very strong group from the research point of view. So this is another approach of Africa case, another from your approach. Thank you, Kostas, very much.
Thank you very much, Argyros. So we can reveal also another research type of opportunity and collaborate with African colleagues from the field of economy. So I would like to ask now our African colleagues, what are the main bureaucratic challenges that you have faced, especially regarding the mobilities? Because I suspect that we have here European partners like George Chryssotakis or George Fouskitakis, that they have used the mobility, but I don't think so that we face so many kind of bureaucratic, challenges compared to what African colleagues they face in order to travel to Europe. I will provide the floor to Emmanuel in order to share with us these challenges. Emmanuel, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. The first one that I really saw as a great challenge is the administrative procedure for the travels. Probably we haven't participated in the KA1 mobility projects, but those in KA2, especially in capacity building for higher education, there are so many travel restrictions. For example, the use of a straight line for travels. Now, in Africa, the cost of tickets, it's not necessarily proportional to the distance traveled. So that becomes an issue. So if you buy a ticket, they will tell you this is the amount as per the computation of the distance, the tool that the commission has provided. And yet the actual cost, sometimes it's more expensive to travel to countries that are closer together because there is no airline. So you have to, for example, in Uganda, until recently, you have either to travel to Kenya and then from Kenya back to, let's say, Zambia. And the same for going to go through Addis Ababa. So that one was one of the big issues. And the second thing is the recognition. I think Godfrey and Raymond had mentioned this, and everyone agrees that the problem we have in many African institutions is that we don't have a credit recognition system for study abroad programs. So when you come back to use those credits as part of your degree, sometimes there is no harmonized system to make that work. Unlike in Europe, where you have a common education area. The other thing is not really a bureaucratic issue, but related to the diversity of the education systems in the continent. Now, in Europe, it's more or less uniform, but in Africa, based on the colonial legacies, we have very different education systems. So if we have to unify the collaboration with the African continent, even as Reform, because we try to make intra-Africa mobility prominent, the issue has been that transferring, let's say, certificates or credits or even degrees sometimes across education systems in the continent is a very complicated issue. And I think that as we work in this consortium, especially through the Athena Network, I'm thinking that we need to work towards sharing how you are able to develop, let's say from the Bologna process, to have a common education area in Europe, to have that done in the African continent. I know there is already some effort ongoing with at the African Union level with the support of a few European universities. But I think if the effort is intensified, it would create a more bigger voice to make that institutionalized. And then, yeah, for the challenges, that's what I see as really, really prominent, but also the diversity of the cost of living across the continent. For example, when you're moving staff and students from one place to another, a uniform cost is usually provided. But unlike maybe in Europe, where there is a little bit of uniformity and there are standards on how much, I mean, what the cost of living is, it's so diverse in the African continent. And just putting a blanket figure, for example, for a staff to move from Kenya to South Africa does not apply because the cost of living in South Africa is very high. So that also needs to be taken into consideration in the process of planning these mobilities. And the same for moving from Africa to Europe and Europe to Africa. Yeah, so let me stop here for the challenges. I had some other opportunities that I thought maybe that will come later, I don't know.
Yes, I mean, if you can share these opportunities very fast with us.
Yeah, just in 30 seconds. I like something that the previous speaker spoke, the lady, I can't remember the name, but we feel from the Reform Network, we've worked in a number of projects, not very many, but one thing that we realize is that there is a lot of work that has been done in terms of projects. And if we could put together lessons that have been learned, let's say from the Reform Network side and then the Athena network side, and say, this is what we have done, and this is the actual gap. So it's sort of a review or evaluation of the impact that we have, the cumulative impact that's been achieved, and then inform what could be done next. And the one quick thing that I think of is the shift from curriculum development that has been a focus in the capacity building in higher education to the actual deployment of those curricula in form of, as I think it's George who had mentioned, in terms of problem-based learning, research and innovation. So for example, if you developed a program in applied AI or something, and then we need some research and innovation to deploy, make that program work in a problem-based learning approach. And then it would also need working closely in a more larger scale. I'm thinking of something like a program-based rather than project. And I looking at the team here, the Athena Network and others is quite big. And I thought that we could actually constitute a bigger voice to negotiate, for example, with the DG INPA, the Directorate of International Partnerships, to propose larger scale rather than project-based, because we've had some experience with them, and I think if there is a strong voice, collective voice from both sides of the continent, both continents, we can easily influence a larger program rather than project-based, building on the achievements that we have made so far. And lastly, I think we need institutional strengthening in the African universities. One of the things that we've realized is that a lot of projects are done by individuals, and then the administrators take note of what is happening, and they may be interested in a few outcomes here and there, but the impact, the change in the way the institutions in the African continent work is very limited. So I'm thinking that we could also focus on how to change the functioning of the universities and have projects or programs that engage the leadership, let's say those directors of research and innovation, to make sure that changes actually happen in perpetuity rather than stopping at project mode. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel. This gives me a great opportunity to what I was thinking. What I'm thinking is like to, through RU Forum, then and the participants here, it's nice, European universities that they participate in the European University Alliance to transfer know-how, how to create the African University Alliance. And all these topics up to the governance, research board, educational board, accreditation system, unification of the educational systems with Africa can be implemented or can be pilot through, such a capacity building project or whatever is going to be meant. So I'm going to contact personally some European universities that they have an experience in European alliances and also experience working with African universities to establish, starting from the RU Forum, since you represent such a big number of universities, the creation and the submission of a project, the African University Alliances. So in order to check, how these processes can be more uniform. And if motivation is there, I think the time is not an issue. Thank you for sharing with us, all these barriers regarding the financial barriers. Let me tell you that in Europe, then all the calls from now and then, they are going to be based on lump sum, which means that you have a budget and you are using the budget in order to make the deliverables. So all the traveling and all the expenses, they are going to be based in real or very close to real values. Okay? This is something that is taken to the account. And the last for this kind of presentation, I'm providing to Raymond to share with us, the challenges regarding bureaucracy that you face. Raymond, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Kostas, for another opportunity. I don't know if my network is very stable now.
It's very stable. You have five minutes.
Okay, thank you. So I must share my experience in regard to my mobility as the first student, under the first nursing student, to live in Mbarara and, have that exchange in Greece. So it was really, I must say it was a very good experience. At the end of it, I appreciate it. But then when it came to the mobility, the real mobility, it was not very easy because the visa process, first of all, was a problem. First of all, I had to, get to Uganda and get information about the visa issues and all that. I had the introductory letter from Professor George and the International Relations Office, which had clear terms, but then no one could understand this here in Uganda. So I had to move up to Kenya, Nairobi, and remember that by that time I was a student. So that means I had to borrow money here and there from, friends, take a loan and all that, and then pay for the visa myself, and then also buy the air tickets, and so that I can, be able to move. So I shared the same experience. I asked my colleagues whom I was staying with in Crete, who had come under the same program, whether it was easy for them. But I found out that the parents and the structures in Europe supported these students to, for their visa and then the air tickets. So which is not the case here. So I think that is something maybe, for the incoming students, something that the mobilizers of mobility could handle, probably, be able to assist in visa processing in terms of maybe give some funds for that, and then also be able to buy the air tickets for the students, so that it becomes a stress-free experience. I had a lot of stress in the first week, but I'm very happy that I found a very welcoming, family at Hellenic Mediterranean University, and all the stress, vanished. But it was not not very easy for me in the first, in the process of initiating the mobility, and then also the ability to be able to move from Uganda to Crete. So I think that is my take on that. But also, if these programs would be structured in the strategic plans of the university, probably it would be very easy to be able to also to get some funding or support from the institutions. So if, for example, we have a program next year, I'm very happy George has announced early, and institutions are already being engaged about that. But if that would be structured in the strategic plan, maybe of the departments or faculties, they would know, yes, at a particular time in this month, we have 2-3 students, and then they will be able to lobby for funds from the administrators in time, so that these students are helped to, to be able to move and then gain experience in time. So I think that is my take on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Raymond. This is indeed a very serious issue regarding, the support, administrative support in order to prepare the mobilities. In Hellenic Mediterranean University, through my colleague Miss Eva Menegaki, we try to initiate this bureaucracy as soon as possible, but we have to deal with embassies and the delay that they introduce. This is something that the European Commission should know, on top of what Manuel has mentioned, on top of the refunding that you receive in order to mobilize from Africa to Europe or within Africa. These are issues that we are going to prepare in our minutes of this roundtable discussion in order to inform our national agencies in general, and also through the Athena European University. So at this moment, I think that we reached the end. I will provide also another comment, another suggestion that I'm providing to our colleagues. That there are a lot of research opportunities through Marie Curie for Africa. So mobilities through Marie Curie actions, in order researchers to move from Africa to Europe and from Europe to Africa. And also Africa prioritize a lot the research activities in the continent in order to lower the brain drain through the Research Universities Alliance. African Research Universities Alliance exists. It is doing a very remarkable, let's say, efforts and activities in order to attract people and talents to keep in Africa. And also they are open to also collaboration in research level. So I would like to thank you, but before I close, if we have any questions, a couple of questions to our colleagues, please feel free to switch on your mic or type your question to the chat. So I'm going to leave, another 5 minutes for questions to our colleagues. Or switch on your microphone.
Costa?
Yes, please.
Costa, it's me, Arguero.
Yes, please.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
May I call you after the meeting? To call you?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
All right. Yanis, the floor is yours. Professor Kaliakatsu.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be with you, although I am far away from the most of you. I would like to continue to work with people from Africa. I'm very happy to see also Raymond here. And with George Fuskitakis and with the help of Kostas Petridis, we'll try to make something, make a proposal again with the African colleagues. Every year, I put in our proposal for KA 171 my colleagues from all the African universities. And I think that the experience of Argyro, George Kritsotakis and George Fouskitakis was great, and I hope that also my colleagues Kostas Petridis, Vega Gloria, and Eva Menegaki will try to join these activities and visit Africa universities to have a personal experience. And among all of us, I would like to thank Dirk van Merode that he was the man who involved me for the first time to collaborate with African universities. And due to him, I had the contact persons to collaborate with these universities. Thank you, Dirk, and also all the colleagues here. Say hello to Nuno. I could meet him some days before, but I hope to be again active and see him very soon. Thanks to all my colleagues, our friends from other countries, especially, and also all the people join us during this Erasmus days. Thank you all.
Thank you, Yanis. I'm going to jump to a question that comes. So our colleague Vega Gloria from the International Relations Office would like to ask all of you, how long do you get the visa for your students? We get only for 3 months. How about the rest of the university? So we need, if I try to interpret now the message, like we need at least 3 months in order to issue the visa. So Dirk or other colleagues from Europe that you are trying to bring people from Africa to your university, how long do you need in order to issue the visa?
Yeah, at this stage, we're just starting this process. So I'm very glad that Gloria Vega mentioned the issue, because indeed we are trying with Godfrey to get our first students to Antwerp, and they will stay there from February to June. So this will surpass the 3 months. So let's indeed try to get this solved, and I will mention this, or I will communicate how the Belgian government handles this. So we will know this quite fast.
So you don't have a unit, you don't have a time, 3 months, 4 months. The earlier, the better, from your answer, I am understanding. So Gloria, everyone is facing the same issues. I will provide the floor now to, following the order, to Yorgos Sikalakis and then to Yorgos Kritsotakis, if I remember well. So Yorgos Sikalakis, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's a great opportunity that I can see all those people together in this very interesting meeting. And I'd like to share my experience in Africa, but it's not as the other guys, because I visited the north part of Africa, Tunisia and Algeria. It was an idea that gave it and promoted by Mr. Kaliakatsos, and I would like to thank him for another one time for the opportunity. And I also have another experience to share with you. Normally, I've seen all these very interesting propositions in the part of the European University, how much knowledge provide and give to Africa. And I have the opposite, that I am one of the guys that I get a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge by Africa, and I brought it back to Europe. First of all, it was very important to realize that all people that having a connection with agricultural production of olive oil was afraid of Tunisians because they didn't know there was a lot of myths about the Tunisian olive oil and Tunisian production. When I returned back, through articles, through presentations I made to show to the other people that we don't have to afraid something from the African people, North African people, because okay, yes, you know it, Africa is a big continent with great difference between from the north to south, and I'd like, and this is something that we have to also focus that. Okay, we have to give technology, we have to give materials to Africa, but also we have a lot of knowledge to get back. And I hope that this opportunity will give us the next floor in the future floor to create new projects and new experience in Africa. And you're of course invited in Citia and in Crete also. And but the problem of visa, you don't have only the African people the problem to come in Europe. Sometimes we have also problem to get the visa, even though I applied twice in Algeria. The second time because, of course, something positive. So yes, the problem of visa, the border is something we have to cross, and that we are doing through this conversation. We are breaking the walls.
Thank you very much, Yorgos. And I will provide the floor to my colleague, George Kritsotakis. I think that he has raised his hand before. Yorgos?
Yes, I just want to answer the question to Gloria and comment on what Brick said, that what I have been told and what we did here is that when they arrive, they usually have a 3 months Schengen visa. But then they have the possibility to go here, to go in every country, I mean, and extend their visa. And if they stay for up to 6 months, then I think that they have to take for this time not a visa, travel student visa, but at least in Greece they will take a permanent residency card. That's what I was. That's what I was told, because we plan to bring some student next January for 6 months, and we have already started the process 3 to 4 months earlier. I don't know if this answers to your questions. I think that because it is changing, more or less, it's going to be the same.
Another issue that probably, George, you can share with us is like a part of the time that we need to apply before, like 3 to 4 months. This is what I'm getting now. And I had the feeling from the discussions with our IRO office is like, if, you know, an African student or an African scholar receive a visa to come to Greece, can he use the same visa to travel to Belgium through the Schengen countries? Do you have an answer? Because I know that you
this is a very complicated thing, because usually what the Schengen area, the treaty says is that if, for example, the Greek embassy issues a visa, then it is for Greece, although you can travel to the Schengen area. However, the other countries are not obliged to accept it. And I know that some countries, for example, Germany, is very strict. For example, does not accept easily people traveling to Germany with visas issued in other countries. France is more flexible. And so it's better to take the visa from the embassy of the country that you want to travel. The treaty says that if you are to stay in 2 different countries or 3, then, and this is programmed, then the visa should be issued by the country that you are going to spend more time in. So if you're going to spend, let's say, 3 months in Belgium and then travel for 1 week in Greece for the international week, then the Belgian embassy must issue the visa. This is what he said.
Can I answer because I know the answer?
Yes, very fast, please.
No, it's
yes.
like
this answer is correct as well.
Yes, it is. It's like George said, with the difference. Yes, if you want to travel to Greece and you must receive if you take a visa, a Schengen visa, then you must travel to the country that you have been invited. From the country that you are already invited, if you are arrived, then you have 3 months the right to travel all over the Schengen area. But you cannot take the Schengen visa to Greece and then to travel to Germany, because Germany will be not accepted. They must tell you that you must first go to Greece and then to travel inside, because inside They don't have any other controls. But there's a very important issue that, yes, in general, they don't control it very well in the matter of 3 months, Schengen remaining. But don't forget that sometimes they ask for the Greek embassy asks from us to sign that we are responsible, our guests to return back. So yes, it's very complicated issue. But in general, yes, if you have a visa in Schengen area, you can travel all visa era.
Okay, so George, I just want to add that even if this is true, the other countries are not obliged to accept you.
Correct. So what we are doing in our new Erasmus Mundus, because we have to move people from country to country, the people are coming to Greece, they apply for visa to Greece, and then in Greece, they apply for a new visa to travel to Germany through the German embassy in Athens. This is what we are trying to follow in order to be secure. So thank you all of you for this. I think that we did not keep the time, but this is like nice. I think that we share all the experiences, we share ideas. I kept a note. I will write a review email to all of you of what we have discussed, what new opportunities they exist, the difficulties. If I have missed anything, you are going to correct me. So tomorrow we continue our Erasmus days with another activity. We have invited the ESN International from Brussels, the European Student Association in Brussels, in Luxembourg actually, and other students to share with us their challenges and their proposals for more internationalization in higher education. So tomorrow the floor is to our students, but of course you are very welcome to listen to them and tailor your activities in order to make internationalization more attractive. I will share with you the link and the details. Thank you very much. Kalispera now in Greece, and stay safe for the people that you are living in risky, let's say now, in areas that a lot of bad things happen. Bye-bye, and thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.